Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. It's Strawhat Deku here, and today I'm here with my One Piece manga review for chapter 955, Enma. So overall, I really like this chapter, and it begins with Gang Bej's Oh My Family Volume 6, stopping at this island to stock up on food, which shows Beige and crew arriving at Dressrosa. It's nice to see them, again, it's nice to see the story continuing. I'm really excited to see where they go with this. Oda usually has some good payoffs in these. So the chapter begins with Lady Hiyori still being kind of shady with her whole sentiment is forbidden before a battle. But she asked them to protect Wano, which, like, could still just be part of her ploy. But, like, I do honestly think she's going to be a good character with just some sort of grayish, kind of complicated background. Next, it cuts to Zoro telling the Akazaya 9 that Lady Hori is still alive. They seem overjoyed because they assumed that she had passed away when Kawamatsu was captured, but they were just too afraid to ask. Zoro reminds Momonosuke that Hiyori is an adult now, and he just jokes about how someone who's 18 years older than him dropkicking him sounds dangerous, and just classic Momo not grasping the full situation. I enjoyed Sanji instantly sucking up to Momonosuke when he realized who Hiyori was. The next scene has a lot to cover too, so here we go. It's confirmed now that Luffy was carrying Kitetsu too, so Zoro notes that he knew it was a name sword. And we also get the full introduction to Tengayama Hitetsu, who introduces himself and reveals that he has had both Enma and Abi no Habakiri the whole time. He says that Enma is the sword that splits the earth to the bottom of hell, and Abi no Habakiri is the sword that cuts down the heavens, and that both are held among the 21 excellent great swords, along with Shusui. Momo says he's not ready for Abi no Habakiri just yet and that he's not afraid, but we all know that's a lie because he instantly transforms into his little dragon form, and Zoro is given Enma along with the warning that no one but Lord Odin has ever tamed Enma. One of my favorite parts of the chapter happens next, and it's when Zoro is asked to test Enma's edge on a tree. He not only cuts the tree, but he entirely severs part of the coastline from the island. But it seems that the sword has absorbed Zoro's Ryo, or Haki, as we would call it, and that we get a badass panel of Zoro telling the sword to give him back his energy, which it does. So Zoro looks just as excited for us for the possibilities for the sword going forward in the series. We also get a little bit of Robin reporting that the enemy forces look like they will be up around 30,000 strong. However, it seems convenient that they don't know about the Big Mom pirates, or that they haven't at least mentioned like Big Mom by name, and I'm curious to see how that plays out. We only have 4,200 at the end of this chapter, so it's a very big difference in numbers, but again, it's not just numbers. We saw the Straw Hats take on 100,000 fishmen like it was no problem. Frankie is seen. He says he wants to ferry at least 100,000 men if possible with his ships. And by the way, that's a good point right there to read the official releases, people. The scan said 10,000, which is a significant difference between 100,000. Literally 10 times more. Like, that's a lot more people that Frankie wants to be able to carry. Next, we quickly pop into seeing Luffy absolutely obliterating a steel block with a failed punch, we find out. And after that, we get this little reveal that they kind of slide into one panel, but it kind of just confirmed that Zoro's sensei is from Wano, because it shows that Zoro was taught this phrase Tsunachi, even though he never used it himself, though, which is kind of funny that he still taught to Momo, even though he doesn't use it himself. But it leads us to believe that if he learned this when he was a child if his teacher would have learned this as a child, he would have learned it in Wano, or maybe somebody from Wano. So that's just it's a big little thing to help leave credence to the fact that his sensei could possibly be either related to Wano or from Wano. But as we'll talk about later in the chapter 2, finding out the other blacksmith, Shimotsuki Kazuboru, he could have been the Shimotsuki whose Zoro's village is named after later on, especially if he was like expelled from Wano 50 years ago. Chopper, Luffy, and Otama all return to the others who are with Hitetsu, which is nice to see them back together, even though Luffy's absolutely out cold from how hard he's been training. Shinobu starts to crack off about she doesn't care about Law's disappearance, but Chopper points out the obvious that Law is very powerful, and that's just one of those things that they don't want to have to lose such a strong asset, obviously. And then next it cuts over to that, and next it cuts to Reietsu prison, which we still see that the prisoners are still being held captive, and it doesn't look like, at the moment at least, there's a necessary way for them to get out. Luffy and Kinemon both shake hands and agree to meet at the agreed upon port, which is Tokage Port again. We get a few panels of the laborers in Wano talking about how if Kinemon and the Akazaya 9 were alive, their spirits would be broken now, and that there wouldn't be any uprising to begin with. We get a beautiful panel of the seven Akazaya 9 members we have currently, and Lord Momonosuke and Shinobu. And I love this panel. It's comes with like a nice little paragraph about how they're walking across the ground and they're not ghosts, but they cast true shadows, and just it was a great chapter. A great panel. I love that panel. Next, we get to see both Kara and Wanda visiting Yasuie and Pedro's graves. I assume they're there more for Pedro, but it's just nice to see that they plan on building bigger graves for them after the battle when they're successful, if they're successful, but it's good that they have positive thinking. Next, we also see Hutetsu, who tells Zoro that Kitetsu 3, which is one of Zoro's swords, was forged by him, and he says that it works much like a cursed blade, the weak cannot control it. Hitetsu says that it must be fate that Zoro carries Wado Ichimonji along with Enma, the two of which are forged by the same blacksmith, Shimotsuki Kozaburo, which again is notable because Zoro is from Shimotsuki village, and it's possible that this blacksmith founded this village. So Enma is not yet forged into a black blade, and Zoro can still increase its rank as a sword, which is great because now we have possibly an endgame sword for Zoro here, where he can have his own Mihawk style black blade that he forged himself with his own haki and his own ryo put into the sword. I feel like that'd be a very big power up for Zoro. We get a good panel with Luffy successfully using ryo against a tree, but unfortunately the next panel is Orochi, and it seems that he has somehow found out about parts of the plan, and that the ports have changed to Tokage Port, and this is obviously leading us to wonder who has betrayed the crew. It shows a very, very foreboding panel of law right after, and just I think it's cleverly placed. I don't necessarily think that he's betrayed them. I'm kind of the opinion that he must be working with Drake, or whoever was the one who released him from prison. Could have been Kyoshiro, could have been any of the unnamed people we haven't really seen yet. A lot of moving factors in Wano, so it could be a lot of people who possibly had a reason to help him out. The chapter ends on the starting day of the Fire Festival, along with a panel staying that Wano Act 2 end. So here we go, guys. That's Act 2 over. Hopefully we get some good chapters in between of the little bit of around the world like they did last time when the Act 1 ended. It'd be nice to see what some people are up to, or some of the reactions from the Reverie, or get a little bit of information where we can. I absolutely love the fact that we got a big chapter on Zoro's future possibilities of where he's going to go. We got a lot of new sword abilities, we got more possibilities with his sword, so I'm still not sure which sword he's going to end up taking in the end, because you never know, one could break. Like, he might want Shusui still, there might be something. We're not 100% sure exactly what he wants, but I'm very excited to see where it leads. Overall, I thought this chapter was good. I hear some people have been complaining because they feel like they're not liking when chapters jump around a lot. But again, I don't feel like the series is necessarily meant to be read week to week, even though that's how we do and that's how we take in the content. That's because we're lucky enough to have an artist who will give us week to week content. But I personally think that the series is meant to be read in like marathon form. And I feel like if you were to read through Wano, especially in the acts, being able to go beginning of the act to the very end of the act, then jump right into another one, I feel like it's going to benefit a lot from reading in a marathon form. So that's just my personal opinion. I really like the chapter a lot, guys. Stay tuned for more. I'll have my live reaction up for the new chapter coming out today. Sorry for the late upload. Had a lot of stuff come up. Stay safe, everybody. Strawhat Deku, signing off.